Picture this. You are standing in the middle of a modern baby nursery. It's 2 a.m. In front of you is a diaper pail that smells like a biochemical weapons testing site. You've got a mountain of premium, ultra-absorbent, hypoallergenic disposable diapers. You have double-thick, pH-balanced, fragrance-free wet wipes. You've got organic lavender diaper rash cream that costs more per ounce than a fine whiskey. And yet, you are still covered in mysterious fluids, sweating, and questioning every single life decision that led you to this exact moment. Now, let's do a dramatic evolutionary rewind. Let's dial the clock back 40,000 years. You're in a cave. Outside, a brutal Ice Age winter is howling, dropping temperatures to 20 below zero. Inside, your baby has just done what babies do. But you don't have plastic, you don't have Pampers, you don't have running hot water, synthetic wet wipes, or a washing machine. If your baby gets wet and stays wet, they don't just get a minor rash. In these temperatures, wet skin leads to rapid hypothermia. It leads to severe skin infections that can turn fatal in a world before antibiotics. And even worse, scent is everything out here. A smelly baby isn't just an annoyance, it's a literal homing beacon for a hungry cave hyena or a saber-toothed cat that has been tracking your tribe for 3 miles. So how on earth did our ancestors handle this? How did human infants survive for hundreds of thousands of years without a single diaper, without smelling like a trash heap, and without getting eaten by predators? The answer is a bizarre mix of prehistoric chemistry, mind-reading psychology, and nature's most underrated inventions. Grab your stone tools, because we are diving into the messy, ingenious world of primitive baby care. Before we look at the solutions, we have to understand the sheer scale of the diaper problem. Typical modern baby goes through about 2,500 diapers in their first year of life. That's a staggering amount of waste. If a prehistoric nomadic tribe of 30 people had just 5 babies at any given time, and they used modern waste disposal methods, well, their campsite would become unlivable within a month. But out in the wild, survival was a game of stealth. Predators like the cave leopard or the giant short-faced bear didn't hunt by sight alone. They were scent-driven killing machines. To a predator, the smell of baby waste was a sign of a vulnerable, slow-moving target. If a tribe left a trail of soiled materials behind them, or if their shelter smelled of infant waste, they were practically inviting a midnight raid. And then there was the physical threat to the baby. Newborn skin is incredibly thin and sensitive. When left in contact with urine and stool, the skin's natural barrier breaks down rapidly. Today we call this diaper rash. It's annoying, it makes the baby cry, and we put a little zinc oxide paste on it. But 40,000 years ago, severe diaper rash wasn't just a discomfort. It could lead to open, weeping sores. In a damp cave or a temporary shelter filled with wild bacteria, those sores would quickly become infected. Without medical treatment, a simple skin infection in an infant could easily turn into systemic sepsis. So, prehistoric parents had to solve 3 impossible problems simultaneously. First, they had to keep the baby dry to prevent hypothermia. They had to eliminate odors to keep predators away. And third, they had to do all of this using only what they could forage from the forest floor. As it turns out, their solutions make our modern plastic and chemical diapers look incredibly primitive. So what did a prehistoric diaper actually look like? Well, it wasn't a single object, it was a highly sophisticated harvesting system. Enter our first prehistoric hero, Sphagnum Moss. If you've ever gone hiking in a bog or a damp forest, you've probably stepped on this thick, springy green carpet. To the untrained eye, it's just moss. To a Neanderthal or early Homo sapiens parent, it was gold. Sphagnum moss is one of the most incredible absorbent materials on the planet. Its unique cellular structure allows it to hold up to 20 times its dry weight in water. For comparison, a standard modern disposable diaper holds about 10 to 15 times its weight. But that's not even the best part. Sphagnum moss is naturally acidic. This acidity inhibits the growth of bacteria and fungi. It's literally a self-sanitizing, antibacterial, highly absorbent diaper pad designed by Mother Nature. Prehistoric parents would harvest this moss, dry it out by the campfire, and pack it around the baby. Many nomadic tribes, from the subarctic regions to the North American plains, invented what anthropologists call the moss bag or cradle board. This was a beautifully crafted wooden or leather baby carrier. The inside was lined with soft tanned animal skins, often rabbit or deer fur. Then, they would pack the bottom of the carrier with a thick layer of dried sphagnum moss, sometimes mixed with soft, shredded cedar bark or dry prairie grass. When the baby relieved themselves, the moss instantly sucked the moisture away from the skin, while the natural resins in the cedar bark neutralized any odor. When the moss was soiled, the parent simply pulled it out, threw it into the campfire or buried it, and packed in a fresh, clean handful of dry moss. No laundry, no plastic waste, no chemicals, just a simple biodegradable cycle. But what if you lived in an area without sphagnum moss? Our ancestors adapted. In dry desert regions, they used clean, fine sand. They would lay the baby on a bed of dry, warmed sand inside a leather hide. The sand would instantly clump around any moisture, making it incredibly easy to scoop out and replace. In forested areas, they shredded the soft, fibrous inner bark of juniper or pine trees, which had its own natural, fresh-smelling antimicrobial oils. They didn't try to stop the mess, they engineered a natural filter for it. But packed moss and sand were only the backup plans. The primary defense against baby mess was something far more mind-blowing. It's a technique that modern parents are only just starting to rediscover, but our ancestors practiced it as naturally as breathing. It's called elimination communication. To understand this, we have to look at how prehistoric babies lived. They didn't spend their days lying alone in a crib in a separate room or sitting in a plastic bouncer. For the first 2 years of life, a prehistoric baby was in constant, direct physical contact with their mother or another caregiver. They were carried in leather slings, wrapped against the skin, or held in a parent's arms 24 hours a day. When you have a baby pressed against your bare skin all day long, something fascinating happens. You develop a level of sensory connection that is almost telepathic. Think about it. Before a baby actually pees or poops, their body gives off subtle physical warning signs. Their muscles tense up in a specific way. Their breathing pattern shifts from slow and deep to quick and shallow. They might make a tiny specific grunting sound, or their body temperature might change slightly. A modern parent doesn't notice these signs because the baby is wrapped in a thick plastic diaper that masks the sensation. But a prehistoric parent felt every single twitch. The moment the mother felt that subtle change in her baby's body, she knew exactly what was about to happen. She didn't wait for the mess to occur. Instead, she would gently hold the baby away from her body, supporting them in a squatting position over the grass, a patch of dirt, or as designated waste area away from the camp. As she held the baby in this position, she would make a cue sound, usually a soft, rhythmic sound. Over time, the baby's brain formed a powerful association. They learned that when they felt the physical urge and their mother held them in that specific squatting position while making that soft sound, it was time to release. By the time they were just a few months old, prehistoric babies weren't just randomly wetting themselves all day. They were actively cooperating with their parents. They would wait until they were held in the toilet position before letting go. It sounds like magic to a modern parent who is struggling to potty train a 3-year-old using sticker charts and iPad games. But in the wild, this was basic survival. It kept the parent clean, it kept the baby dry, and it kept the campsite free of odors. In fact, anthropologists studying surviving hunter-gatherer tribes in places like the Kalahari Desert or the Amazon basin have observed mothers doing this with incredible accuracy. These babies are often fully potty trained before they can even walk. No diapers required. Even with perfect communication, accidents happened. So, what did prehistoric parents use for cleanup? They didn't have wet wipes, but they had the entire library of nature's textures. For general wiping, they used a variety of soft, non-irritating leaves. In Europe, they might use the velvety leaves of the mullein plant, often nicknamed nature's toilet paper because of its thick, incredibly soft, flannel-like texture. In other regions, they used smooth, water-worn river stones, which were cool and soothing on irritated skin. And water, of course, was the ultimate cleanser. Nomadic camps were almost always situated near fresh, running water. Quick dip in a cool stream or a gentle splash of water carried in a birch bark cup was more than enough to keep an infant spotlessly clean. But what about winter? You can't exactly wash a baby in a freezing river when it's snowing outside. During the cold months, our ancestors used dry, powdery clay or fine ash from the campfire. They discovered that fine dry wood ash, specifically from hardwood trees, had mild saponifying properties. When mixed with a tiny bit of water or the natural oils on the skin, it acted like a primitive soap, breaking down grease and neutralizing bacteria. They also used snow. While it sounds incredibly cold, a quick swipe with soft, freshly fallen snow was highly effective at cleaning and instantly soothing inflammation, followed immediately by rapid drying near the warm campfire and a generous application of animal fat, like bear grease or deer tallow, which acted as a waterproof moisture barrier, much like our modern petroleum jelly. It was a complete circular system. They used the earth to clean, and the earth absorbed the waste without a single trace of pollution. Now, here is the ultimate twist of this evolutionary story. You might think that as human civilization progressed, as we built houses, invented agriculture, and started living in cities, our baby hygiene got cleaner and better. But historical evidence tells us the exact opposite. When humans lived as nomadic hunter-gatherers, they were constantly on the move. They walked miles every day, leaving their waste behind to be naturally decomposed by the earth. Their population density was incredibly low, and they spent almost all of their time in the fresh, open air. But about 10,000 years ago, during the agricultural revolution, everything changed. Humans settled down. We built permanent mud brick houses and crowded together in villages. We started living alongside domesticated animals. And suddenly, we weren't moving away from our waste anymore. Without the constant movement of nomadic life, and without the abundant access to wild, clean bogs of sphagnum moss, baby hygiene took a massive nosedive. Parents no longer had the time for 24/7 skin-to-skin contact because they were working long, exhausting hours in the wheat fields. Elimination communication fell apart. Babies were left wrapped in crude, unwashed woven rags for hours at a time while their parents farmed. This is the exact moment in human history when diaper rash, infant skin diseases, and deadly diarrheal infections skyrocketed. The mud brick floors of early agricultural homes became breeding grounds for bacteria, and infant mortality rates surged. For thousands of years after the agricultural shift, baby hygiene was a disaster. In medieval Europe, babies were tightly swaddled in linen bands that were rarely washed, leading to horrific skin conditions that doctors tried to treat with bizarre concoctions like hog's grease and lead powder. It took us nearly 10,000 years of civilization, scientific breakthroughs, and the invention of advanced synthetic plastics and sewage systems just to get back to the baseline level of infant cleanliness and skin health that a Neanderthal parent achieved with a simple handful of wild moss and a baby sling. So what is the lesson here for us, the exhausted, modern parents of the 21st century? The next time you're standing over a changing table, struggling with a wriggling baby, trying to seal a diaper tape perfectly while wiping down a massive blowout, take a deep breath. Put down the parenting forms. Don't feel guilty because you didn't buy the organic bamboo wipes or because your baby threw a tantrum during diaper duty. Your baby is not acting out. Their body and their brain are just executing an ancient 300,000-year-old biological program. They are wired to expect constant physical closeness, immediate parental response, and natural, breathable materials against their skin. You don't need to throw away your diapers and move into a cave. Modern diapers are an incredible convenience that allows us to navigate our busy, structured lives. But understanding this evolutionary mismatch can help us find a little bit of grace in the chaos. If your baby hates being diapered, it's not because you're a bad parent. It's just their inner caveman wishing they were snuggled in a warm deerskin sling, lined with fresh forest moss, listening to the comforting crackle of a campfire. So hug your little cave dweller, forgive yourself for the mess, and remember, you are carrying on a survival art that has kept our species alive through ice ages, predators, and the wildest eras of history. If you want to know more about the fascinating biological mismatches of modern parenting, like why ancient toddlers didn't throw tantrums, or how prehistoric kids learned to hunt without ever getting hurt, click on this video right here. See you in the next epoch.